bitch, or even Boca. We invented the cherry tomato and Waze USB drives and the Iron Dome. Israeli salad, Uzi, Stenton, Jaffa's orange grow. Microchips is us, iPhone cameras us, taco salads us, Bodagabanos us, Olive Garden us, White Phosphor us, Sabra Hamas, Hezbollah us.
Assalamu alaikum. Alaikum salam. What up, everyone? And welcome to Bad Hasbara,
the world's most moral podcast. Peace be upon you all.
That's right. My name is Matt Lieb. I will be your most moral co-host.
I'm Daniel Mate, your other most moral co-host. Hi, everyone.
Hi. We're so excited to have all y'all here. It's time for another episode of this podcast. Are you ready? We're going to begin right now. Please give us 5 stars in a review. So excited to be back here. Yeah, 5 stars in a review. You know all the stuff, all the intro stuff that we do. We want you to subscribe. If you haven't done that yet, please do. We want you to join the Patreon, patreon.com/badhasbara, because not only do you get to listen to us once a week early before everyone else does, but you also get a bonus episode exclusive just to patrons. So please do that. It helps us out. It makes everything worth doing. You know?
Do you know that we're inching closer to 40,000 subscribers now on YouTube?
Oh, on YouTube. I was about to say, oh shit, I haven't checked the Patreon in a while. I was about to buy a house. No, we are very close. We're very close to 40,000 subscribers. If there's one thing I'll say about our YouTube growth is it's slow but steady. But steady. In terms of people,
it's a low risk investment. You're going to get, if you were to invest in stocks correlated to our YouTube growth, it's only going up. Unless we get a massive, censorship purge, it's going to go up. But you're not going to have a huge windfall, I would say.
Yeah, it's like it's just line go up. I mean, we're GameStop. Nothing's stopping us from keeping going. Whatever happened with GameStop? They probably went down, huh? I won't compare us to GameStop, but I will say I'll compare us to, the American economy. Eternal, always going up. Everyone knows.
Unfuckwithable.
You can't fuck with the American economy because we are the only people who print dollars. You can't beat that. I don't want some weird other countries' kings and queens on my money. Neither do you. You only want American presidents. Washington, Adams, George. You know what I mean?
100%.
Please go to patreon.com/Badhasbara. Also, please, if you are in the San Francisco Bay Area, go to Cobb's Comedy Club on May 7th. It is rapidly approaching. My wife and I, we're going to be co-headlining over at Cobb's. It's going to be a really fun night. So get your tickets now before it's too late. And it's almost too late. I mean, it's the 28th when we're recording this. And by the time this comes out, you'll have like 7 days. So you better do it. You do it or I'll find you. Today's episode is brought to you by the Samir Project. The Samir Project is a donations-based aid initiative led by 4 Palestinians in the diaspora working to supply emergency funding to the displaced families of Gaza. The fund was originally formed to purchase and distribute tents in southern Gaza and is now supplying cash envelopes on an as-needed basis to allow families the independence to secure the specific aid they require for themselves. Now, more than ever, this aid is desperately needed. So if you have any money, please consider going to bit.ly/SameerProj, SameerProj, and donating as soon as you can. That would be good. It's better to do that than to donate, than to subscribe to this podcast. That just better use of your money. So do that for us, please.
Extra slop versus a warm feeling in your heart that you've helped save a life.
Yeah, or at the very least made it like slightly more comfortable during a genocide. I feel like that's probably going to feel better than listening to us do dick jokes about something terrible. Yeah.
Like,
So do
like
that.
dicks.
Yeah. Right.
Dick
You know,
jokes about dicks.
mostly
Terrible.
our dick jokes are just about dicks. We don't use it as a metaphor all that much. Daniel Mate,
Yeah, man.
I know you're still on the road,
I am.
but can you tell me what's the spin?
Well, I'm on the road. Here I am at a hotel near the Yellowstone River in Montana.
Oh, that sounds
Once
so
again,
lovely.
I'm not afraid of divulging my location because by the time you hear this, I'll be long gone.
Moving from
and there are
bunker to
record
bunker,
stores along
like-
the way. What's
like-
that?
You're moving from bunker to bunker like Dick Cheney during the War on Terror. You know? Now I'm in Montana. I'm gonna find some children blood to drink. I don't know.
Shoot them in the face. But there are record stores along the way. So I stopped in Idaho and in Montana. Got a few great ones.
Wow.
The Coup,
Oh, the coup. Hell yes.
Genocide and Juice.
Yes.
Appropriate.
Yes, yes. Very nice. Very
Not
nice.
Genocide and Jews.
No, although they have been accused.
I was really excited to find this one. For some reason, I didn't think it was available on vinyl. It is. This is Peter Gabriel's soundtrack to The Last Temptation of Christ.
Oh,
Titled
shit.
Passion.
I had no idea
really
that's a
Beautiful,
Peter.
mostly
That's a
instrumental music. Yeah,
That's a Peter Gabriel soundtrack.
it is. It's one of the rare Martin Scorsese movies where Robbie Robertson wasn't involved.
Wow, interesting.
From the band, yeah. Or at least he's done a lot of music supervision for
Right.
for Scorsese. But yeah, no, it's a beautiful album. Then also on the Jesus tip, the musical Godspell,
Okay. Yeah.
which
I've
I
never.
believe like there were a lot of Second City people involved in early versions of it. I think Andrea Martin and maybe Eugene Levy. Like there was a Toronto incarnation of it, and a lot of those.
Is
guys were
Godspell
involved.
a comedy?
No, but it's sort of a an exuberant, upbeat retelling of aspects of the Bible. I don't even know if it's like specifically Jesus, but I don't actually know much about it.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I've never seen it. I don't know it.
Written by Stephen Schwartz, who wrote Wicked,
Oh shit.
but one of his very, very early shows, maybe his first.
Maybe.
And then finally, I had to get this one.
Oh Lord, John Wayne, America. Why I love her. That is. I did not know he put out an album.
Yeah, he did. There are tracks like "Why I Love Her," "The Hyphen," "Mis raíces están aquí," "My Roots Are Buried Here," "Face the Flag," "Why Are You Marching, Son," "The Pledge of Allegiance," and "An American Boy Grows Up." And there's a big there's a little
Look at him.
inscription here by John Wayne about the importance of America to him. So I'm looking forward to. I someday hope to be a sample artist. I would love to.
Oh yeah.
Make sample-based music, and there's going to be some great samples on that. So.
It's just so funny that he put out an album and it's like you're an actor. You're not actually a cowboy.
Well, William Shatner has albums. Leonard Nimoy has albums. It
Right,
used to
but
be-
but William Shatner's albums weren't about fucking green women in space. Like he's not actually a fucking like the idea.
yeah, but
that,
John
like,
Wayne really believed in this stuff.
I know he believed in it, but Christ, with the fucking, it's like he was like sort of like the proto what we have now of everyone cosplaying a fucking cowboy. It's just like, no, you don't actually have to be a cowboy to dress like one. You just have to love America and wear a big hat.
Yeah.
Fine. That's great. I would love to. I'm going to see if I can find that one on Spotify.
Yeah, I don't know if it's there, but yeah.
I
looking forward to it.
don't mind giving him a few percentages of a penny for every listen. He's dead now. Who even owns his estate?
His roots are buried here.
That's
In
right.
Spanish.
That's the spin. That's some wonderful music that you yourself could listen to or not. At the very least, we know Daniel is. Before we introduce our guests, just a quick hit, a little bit of content just to wet your whistle. So this is from Max Blumenthal. He just posted this. Apparently, a former senator named Norm Coleman said this very interesting thing at the Jerusalem JNS Policy Summit. JNS, what is it? Jewish National Services, let's guess.
I don't know what it is.
What is JNS? That is the Jewish News Syndicate. There we go. Good.
Okay.
See, this is why I'm a journalist. I Google sometimes. He was calling on the Jewish tech industry CEOs to counteract Gen Z's growing support for Palestine. So Coleman apparently was the warm-up act for Netanyahu who came out. But this is just like one of those things that you see that you can't help but go. At this point, I think, as a community, have just fully embraced anti-Semitic tropes as very real things, and can't be all that helpful to us.
Now, during to distract 8-day-old Jewish males during their bris, they just give them a tiny globe to hold. So that their hands don't get in the way of the boys' work.
Exactly. Just hold on to this globe with one hand and maybe give them some money in the other hand.
Okay, but we're jumping ahead.
All right, here we go.
People know what we mean.
Yeah, here it is. Here's the video.
A majority of Gen Z have an unfavorable impression of Israel. And my friends, I think the reason for that is that we're losing the digital war. Okay, they're getting their information from TikTok and whatever it is, and we're losing that war. When you think about it, the masters of the universe are Jews. You know, we've got
what?
We got Zuckerberg, we got Sergey Brin, we got the whole group across the board. Jan Combs, founded WhatsApp. It's us.
We are
we are the masters of the universe. Heeb-man and the masters of the universe.
Just how do you go up and go, guys, we're losing this PR war, and we shouldn't be, because we control the media. I don't think it's out of left field. I'm not telling tales out of school to say that
telling tales out of yeshiva.
Out of yeshiva to say we, as the Jews, we run stuff. So what the hell? Like, how do you, at this point, what's even the point of anti-Semitic tropes anymore if they're just going to be used by proponents of the state of Israel? Fucking A.
But we're going to run this globe tonight.
Oh my fucking God. So Norm, I had to look this up. Norm Coleman is Jewish.
Yeah, his paternal grandfather changed his name from Goldman.
I love that, because at first I was like, Coleman, that's not then yes, he changed his name. He was a senator. He lost to, I believe, producer Adam said it was Al
Franken.
Yeah.
He lost to Stuart Smalley.
Yes, he lost to Stuart Smalley. He was, gosh darn it, people didn't really like him. But that's fine, because he, went into lobbying, went into all of the other things that the revolving door of Washington does. But it's good that he's landed on doing anti-Semitism, but positively. That's where we're at. That's where we're at.
We wanted you to be elders of Zion.
We wanted you to be elders of Zion. We wanted you to control the banks. Isn't that right?
You're emotionally damaged, Jewishly.
Thank you, Rabbi. Yeah, so that is, that's the state of things. And now it is time to introduce our wonderful guests. You know them from the great podcast, The Deprogram. Ladies and gentlemen and everyone else, welcome the hosts of The Deprogram, Yugo, JT, and Hakim.
Let's go.
Hello.
What up? It's the
Thanks for
collab.
having us masters of the universe.
Yes.
Are you Jews?
no, I'm calling you my masters.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
I am the universe. And
Not to toot my horn, but
There he
I am
goes.
from the the country
God.
with the longest continuous up until the 50s existence of a Jewish diaspora. So there must be somewhere up in the line somewhere.
Yeah. So
but
you'll
what-
probably have some like masters like blood. Like
Exactly right.
In your
The difference
in
is
the
also
DNA.
I'm actually a Semite, unlike these Europeans.
What, excuse me?
There we go.
Wait,
Calipers
excuse
are
me?
coming out.
Exactly right.
You're saying I'm not from the Middle East?
Oh,
Is that what
okay,
you're saying?
Hey, you might be, but the guy, Mr. Coleman, I'm not
Yeah,
so
Mr.
sure. Mr. Scottish, Irish, God knows, whatever American blend.
That's me too. Yeah, that's the thing. Is
Yeah,
it's
that's my
weird.
heritage.
Yeah.
You're changing your name from
Heritage
Goldman
not
to
age.
Coleman. Like you're moving from gold to coal.
Yeah,
Oh, there you
yeah. I mean, it's. I like it too because it's something. I mean, this is not something that was that strange at that time when people were like new immigrants from Americas. A lot of people changed their name. And one side of my family are Kramers, and they added like an extra A. Oh no, I'm sorry. They took away like one of the letters to make it seem it's still Kramer, but it's spelled more Anglo-ly apparently.
It's not creamer.
Yeah, it's spelled creamer.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just very funny. Like Coleman also sounds like I don't know.
Actually, it makes sense that it's spelled creamer because you are half and half.
That's true.
There you go.
Oh my
There you
God.
go.
That was good. You guys should enjoy that. That's going to be the podcast.
That's quality.
That's quality here.
You've had
half
us on
and
your
half.
show. You know how we do here.
You know how we do.
Absolutely. And you know us as well. But half and half. Okay, so to be members of the Master League or
That's
whatever, rulers of the universe, how big of a percentage are we talking? So like if Hakim has like 3-4%,
Yeah.
is he allowed in? Is it 15? Is it 25?
Well, how much does he love Israel?
That's the thing, though. Like a bit less.
Nonetheless.
Are you going to include the bit that I was when you made me test the audio? Are you going to include that?
Yeah, we'll add that at the end, just so you know, before the podcast. He was saying some Arabic words about Israel that I did not understand, but I knew.
Someday we will do a compilation of all of our guests pre-tape. Bloopers and
Cancel reel, yeah.
It'll be a massive, content dump.
content
What's that
nuke.
called? It'll be a
Content
content nuke. Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
We'll content
Burn
nuke
all
ourselves.
our bridges.
That's
A
right.
blooper? Whatever happened to bloopers, man?
Whatever
Bloopers
happened
were
to
so much fun. Yeah.
I know. I don't even want to see movies anymore. I just want to see them fucking up and laughing. That's what I say.
Actually, completely derailing. And just on that note, I remember when I was younger. You guys remember it for sure. The Toy Story movie. For some reason, at the end of that, they have bloopers, but it's an animated movie,
Yeah, that's
as
cute.
if they're shot. Yeah, it's cute, but also as a kid, I was like, "What the fuck?" I was so
Even as a
angry.
kid, you're like,
It's real! It's real!
This is bullshit.
Yeah. Sorry. Please take it away.
No, let's change it to a Toy Story podcast.
By the way, if anyone
Get in
goes
less
and sees,
trouble.
if anyone goes and sees Sinners, which
yeah.
you should, it's great. Stay through the credits.
Ooh.
That's
Is there
all
a
I'm gonna
blooper
say.
reel?
No, there isn't.
Damn.
Oh.
Doesn't that have like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes?
It's fantastic. Yeah, I mean,
Oh, wow.
I don't know that 100% of it works, but it's so ambitious and so over the top in its imagination, and it's great.
I got to check it out.
It looks good. I'm going to watch it.
My birthday's coming up this at the end of the week, and so I think I'm gonna go see it for my birthday.
Nice.
Ooh.
Nice.
Finally
nice.
turning 25.
Oh,
So,
mashallah. Happy birthday.
Deprogram, tell me, how did a Slav, an Iraqi, and a Southern gentleman get together and try to take down America?
It was the
Well,
American.
Yeah,
Well,
as
you
always.
see, both our countries were bombed by one of the.
Really, I was doing an apology tour, and then these two guys were like, "Hey,
It was like, okay, I gotta pay reparations,
Yeah,
but I don't have money, so I will help you
I'm just gonna
produce a really good
DM
show. Yeah.
these foreigners."
and then you'll take absolutely all of the income, and it's been going
what
really
we do.
well. I mean, 3 years in, I still have no idea why JT does it. Like that room that he's in, it's actually a garage. Me and Hakim, in our respective developing countries, we are in a literal mansion, while JT still. I think by year 6, JT's reparations will have been paid, and he can have like 5%. I think
thank you,
that's
guys.
respectable. Yeah.
Look, I'm still in the listening and learning phase.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
I'm letting him keep his curls for now.
Thanks, partner.
Well, I appreciate JT that you sit your white ass down and listen,
Yeah,
and that's what this
very
podcast is all about. So you guys have been doing the podcast for 3 years. You have a booming Patreon, which is the envy of the world, aka the envy of this podcast. And you have a great community on Reddit
Which is completely disjointed from
Same.
Disavow.
We have the exact same problem. Which is a Reddit
Own
community
separate universe. That
Dude,
thing.
there are times people make posts about the podcast, and there'll be hundreds of comments about what the fuck? There's a podcast?
I get DMs. Do you guys support this? And it's a screenshot of a random guy commenting on the Reddit. I'm like, oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I am actually hundreds of thousands of people.
No, we're the masters of the universe. Remember, we have
That's
an
right.
omnipotent view. No.
So you guys, you started doing the podcast, and what has been the blowback from it? Because I imagine, given the fact that you guys are like some sort of communists, right? You guys are some sort of radical,
Respectable social democrats. No.
Oh, okay.
Slightly
Yes.
lefty, don't worry.
You're democratic socialists. You believe that no
No,
matter
that's
what.
too radical.
Yeah, it's too radical. Centrist.
What we need is a
communist.
mixture of the Nordic model. No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yes,
what
we're
has
all
it been-
different flavors of.
What has it
of-
been in terms of blowback? I mean, we have a very specific type of blowback in that it comes exclusively, pretty much from Zionists and whatnot. You guys have the the added pressure of also going after capital, going after this two-party system, all of the stuff that is like we like to talk about through the lens of Israel. What has it been like doing this?
JT is best equipped to answer this, I think.
Yeah.
For the most part, it's been overwhelmingly positive, I would say. It's united our 3 fairly different audiences in a really cute way. Like the Discord we have is incredibly wholesome. There are, obviously, as you guys know, there are some people, individuals whom we will not name, who make it their life's work to try to get us to bait us to respond or to clout chase, stuff like that. We don't respond. It's never worth it. The only real actual blowback that I think any of us have had is that I am no longer with the streaming platform that I was with before. Because after October 7th, I was very outspoken. I was not willing to pull any punches. The platform.
Not outspoken. You had the only sensible and correct take, and you maintain that children should maybe not be killed senselessly.
As a reward,
Depends on the context, but go ahead.
As a reward for my beautiful brain, I was asked to make a both sidesy statement on the genocide. It's like, hey, well, just say Israel has the right to defend itself. I'm like, I don't want to do that.
I'm not going to do that. So that's when you say the streaming platform you were with before, you mean, was it for streaming? You mean like can I ask which platform?
Sure, yeah. It was one of the earlier creator run ones called Nebula. I was the 6th person to join that platform. Like I was there at the beginning.
And they wanted
sort of
you to
like-
make a more nebulous statement.
This is definitely
It was a brand thing.
Because they had nebulous morals, that's why.
That was it, and that's the thing that I really took away from the situation. I was like, wow, even though like I know you people, like I know the guy who started it, I know all the 5 people who came before me, they were my friends, and not one of them went to bat for me and said, hey, we should not make this guy say something that he doesn't agree with, that is not the right thing to say.
Right.
But no, I was sent to talk to the PR lady, and and to her credit, she worked with me. She was patient and stuff. I'm just like, look, I don't want to say any of this stuff, so I'm just not gonna do that. So maybe I need to. Yeah.
Were you a contractor, or were you an employee, or what was?
So the way it works, they call it, creator owned, and it's like a shadow equity kind of thing.
Got it.
Where
Okay.
you get a certain amount of money depending on the amount of watch time generated from your content on the streaming platform. So you own it.
Which he has a
that
lot,
sense.
like a lot.
Yeah. I mean, compared to some of the big channels there, it was not that.
Okay,
much,
still political content, but still.
Yeah.
Take
but
a fucking compliment, goddammit.
No,
Yeah.
I'm terrible. I hate myself. No, it was a bummer. And so I was like, okay. So lesson learned: if the platform is not ideologically aligned with you, they're going to choose optics over taking the moral stance every single time. And that is an important lesson to learn that I should have learned sooner.
Yeah, it's it's interesting you bring that up just in terms of, the way that streaming platforms are going in terms of like ownership of them, because there was a story that came out recently that I want to segue into. It's apparently Paramount Plus is doing some sort of merger, and I think because it's a huge media conglomerate, the merger itself would have to be, is monitored and has to be approved by the Trump administration. So Sherry Redstone, famous ghoul, owns Paramount Plus, and very recently it came out that the longtime executive producer of 60 Minutes is left 60 Minutes due to the fact that they were Paramount was asking for more oversight over their content. Now,
Paramount controls 60 Minutes? I thought 60 Minutes
Yes.
was CBS.
Yeah,
that's who owns CBS. It's Paramount now.
also the big mother corporation.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Conglomerate,
my only interaction with Paramount Plus is when this is maybe a little embarrassing.
Do it.
Whenever Beavis and Butthead releases anything new, I will do a free trial, or I'll subscribe for a month so I can binge watch the new season, or Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe.
Yes.
Which made me laugh until I cried.
I love this. I did not know you were a big Beavis fan.
Oh my God.
No, they're still making it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. They made a new season, which was a little hit and miss, but they made a movie called Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe, which I just thought was hysterically funny. There's a great scene where Beavis, essentially they time travel from the 90s to now, and they get told they go to college, and they get told derisively by a fellow student, woke student, that they have white privilege, and they're so into it. They're like, yeah, we can do anything. No, it's okay. We have white privilege. Don't worry about it. But my favorite scene is Beavis falls in love with Siri. Because
But who doesn't?
That's right.
Yeah, I know.
And
she's so helpful.
And
The only woman in my life that does
so
everything I tell her.
And oh my God! And Beavis to me is such a character with such pathos, actually. And at one point, he's talking about himself, and Siri says, "I don't understand Beavis," and Beavis says, "Neither do I sometimes." Neither do I.
Oh, that's amazing. I did not know you were that into it. I have a friend who writes for the new Beavis and Butthead. Maybe you guys can meet
Small
someday.
world.
Kudos.
But yeah, so they're merging. Paramount is merging with Skydance, and because of that, 60 Minutes, for all the faults of various different like network news outlets and mainstream media outlets in general, 60 Minutes has done some surprisingly good work on Gaza and on Israel and Palestine, and the ousting, basically. I mean, he resigned. Bill Owens resigned from it, but it was directly linked to this wanting supervision over the content that they were doing on a news program. And sort of famously, news programs, in the past at least, they were always trying to have independence from the main network. They were always essentially funded by other shows in the main network, and it was meant to like bolster the credentials of your of your channel. Like my channel has the most independent news there is. You can trust us. Those days are gone. And interestingly, Sherry Redstone also put out this statement after the famous Ta-Nehisi Coates v. Doko Pill interview. Sherry Redstone says CBS News, quote, made a mistake by rebuking Tony Doko Pill over Ta-Nehisi Coates' interview. So this
No
is
one
like,
rebukes Count Doko Pill.
yeah, exactly. And so like, you know, this is the state of the streaming industry, you know, now is like having to deal with shit like this. And in terms of other things that Paramount Plus is going to be putting on, Daniel, I know you get the free trial to watch Beavis and Butthead, but maybe in the future you might consider watching this wonderful documentary that's going to be coming out.
Israel is my roots.
Oh, no.
Tel Aviv, Sapir, Haifa, Raha. Eating, drinking, breathing music. It's so addicting.
Israel and Palestine pop group.
I don't want to do anything except doing music. Arabs and Jewish people together to have a coexistence.
Okay, so first of all, can I stop at Arabs and Jewish people working together? There's something I like intrinsically that I cringe when this is going to be about Israel, but we're never going to say the word Palestine.
Yeah.
We're just
And
never
also-
going. We're never going to admit these are Palestinians.
Yeah, and that's number one. But
Yeah.
also another annoying thing is that they're saying Arabs and Jewish people. No, you mean Israelis. Arabs and Jewish people have worked together for over 1,000 years.
In fact, many
Jews were
Jewish
wazirs
people,
in like
many Jewish people are and were and have been Arabs.
Yeah.
yeah, that too, as well as people who identified as Arab but still were of the Jewish faith, or people who identified just as Jewish who served in incredibly high positions across many different Muslim empires or Arab kingdoms and stuff like this. Is so fucking stupid when you just put Israeli. No, just say Israeli. All right.
Yeah, or
But were they ever in a boy band together called
That's
That's
right.
the thing. Fuck.
He got you there.
That's right. Did
I'm
they ever
done.
sing together?
Cooked me.
And the band is called One Something.
As One.
Oh, okay, yeah. As One. Not One State.
They should have called it one state. That would have been hilarious.
Yeah.
Direction.
One Direction, One State.
Reich.
I completely agree with you, Hakim, about the idea of like, you know, this like, can you imagine Jewish people and Arabs working together? And it's like, this is every day in America. This is every day in all over the world. This is not a weird thing. This is only weird to you because you live in a Jewish supremacist apartheid state.
which is the chief driver of so-called Jewish Arab division and discord.
Just a question. Do you think they have separate green rooms?
There's a green line for the green room. Probably.
It's special.
A 4-part music documentary series.
To do. There's a lot to work on.
It now more than ever feels really important.
Comes the next
Why
global pop
is their American English so perfect?
That's what I was just gonna say.
Like,
I was like,
where
these are
are
not
the regional
Palestinian,
accents? I don't know a
even
single. I mean, I know some American. I know lots of American Israelis who grew up in the States or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know too many like 48 Palestinians who speak, who live there, who speak with like perfect American accents.
or Israelis who are born and raised who are not of American origin or extraction.
exactly.
Who
Yes.
speak English like this. I was gonna say.
I mean, I don't mean to burst anyone's bubble here about the boy bands that you loved and grew up with, but they're all media creations.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, I know, they weren't all actually friends.
No, my Backstreet Boys. No.
Yeah, I know. We all thought the Backstreet Boys did not live all on the same back street together growing up. They were invented.
I believe that what we're doing here might just be historic.
Now it's work mode. Now it's money time.
All right, why they gotta make the Jews say it's money time?
Yeah,
Work
Why they
mode
got-
and money time.
Why they gotta make him?
we will solve conflict through content. Let's fucking go. These guys, like, I sometimes feel bad for being a podcaster and talking about this shit. Like, to an extent, commodifies it, and you're like, am I doing a shitty thing?
Yeah.
But holy fuck, we're not at least we're not a fucking genocide boy band, bro.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's like I don't care if you make content necessarily. Is your content in favor of or opposing the genocide? That's always the question I have.
Or ignoring it altogether.
Altogether, yes.
In favor of coexistence bromides.
That's right.
Bromides.
Witness a quest for stardom. 5 years in the making.
Then there's Superstar. It's hard to deny. We're gonna have a whole page about us on the billboard.
Oh, okay. I thought he was going to say on Wikipedia.
I've never heard of Billboard magazine. Is this a big
unbreakable
deal?
bonds.
I feel comfortable.
I bet the bonds breakable.
Around that, they're like,
I was gonna say unbreakable bond. How about they go to their villages? The villages the Palestinians are from. Let's see how.
One group of people who I think could break that bond. Maybe a checkpoint soldier.
Story about 6 kids from Israel with a message.
From where?
There we go.
the war. It's really hard to be far from home. If there's something that I need to work, I will work on it. Pain brings us a lot of strength. I'm really hurt right now.
It can either bring us together or break us apart.
Oh shit. Together, their potential is limitless.
Everything is possible in this life. There's something amazing about it.
Everything's possible in this life.
What's
except
that?
for the International Criminal Court applying their fucking directives. What are you talking about?
Except for equal human rights. Let's see. Except for a single secular democratic state.
Or for American support for Israel. That doesn't seem breaking that does not
no
seem
aid from Washington. Yeah,
exactly.
That's right.
It also feels like very like minstrel-ish, like in the 40s or the 50s in the States when they were like, so I have an idea for the like relatively liberal new audiences. Why don't we go to like a very underdeveloped part of the country and pick out like a few successful, but only in that city, like black artists and then pair them with very popular white artists.
Yes.
And, like, really pitch it to everyone. Like it's this new progressive thing, but they're getting paid completely different amounts. And also, I am a member of the KKK. I just think this is a great way to make extra money. It's so fucking like, ooh, look at this package.
I mean,
go on, please.
Oh, I'm going to say it's just it is 100% packaged liberal Zionism. It's 100% like feel good.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Like, who's the audience for this? Because like Palestinians are going to be like, you still the land is stolen. People are like, no. And Israelis are like, why are the children of light merging with the sons of Amalek or whatever the fuck? That's what Zionists are gonna. And there's the only person who will sit there and clap like a fucking dumbass are liberal Zionists who will be like, oh, see, all of us can get along. It's a Disney.
But it's for them.
They clearly want to sell this to an international audience too.
Who won't buy this? I mean, which Brazilian is going to look at this and be like...
I've just looked them up on Wikipedia. As one was conceived and formed by music entrepreneurs James Diener, who signed and developed Maroon 5, and Ken Levitan, who signed and developed Kings of Leon. Both sound like Jewish music entrepreneurs, especially Levitan.
Kings of Zion.
But just skipping ahead to the end. Number one, do you know who they recorded with in London at Abbey Road Studios?
Oh God, no!
Nile Rodgers from Chic.
Oh, I don't know.
He produced a song for them, I think, or featured on it. Oh, he's a legendary bass player and producer.
Yeah,
he's worked with everybody.
Wow.
African American, and here's at the very end of the Wikipedia article. The song was called, their first single featuring Nile Rodgers was called "All Eyes on Us."
Tupac.
Yeah, "All Eyes on Us."
Yeah.
bombing the Gaza Strip until the day we die. Listeners criticized the song and the band's branding
Till
as
the kingdom
disconnected
of David returns, it's all eyes on us. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Listeners criticized the song and the band's branding as disconnected from reality with regards to the ongoing Israel invasion of the Gaza Strip. Some users highlighted the similarity of All Eyes on Us to All Eyes on Rafah, the viral slogan in reference to Israel's Rafah offensive, and accused the song of drawing attention away from the conflict. Other users defended the brand.
I love that. No. Get away from All Eyes on Us, please. All Eyes on Us. Don't look at Rafah. That is very literal.
I can imagine that their video could be like that graphic that was used for All Eyes on Rafah.
Yeah.
There was like some AI stuff.
Yeah.
And then, except the camera zooms in and they're standing there in the middle of the field being like, no, look at us.
No. Check it out.
Other users defended the band and said they were free to express themselves how they wished, which is such a funny line because, JT, if you experienced at a startup streaming platform pressure from above not to express yourself how you wish, how much more completely owned and controlled in terms of what they're allowed to say are a completely concocted boy band, like a corporate brand notion made flesh, as if these guys have any freedom whatsoever to even think any original thoughts.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
AI generated meat puppets, literally. Like the whole band is like, yo, chat GPT. Audience type guys who are like, peace in the Middle East.
Right.
What do I make? And it's like, 2 Israelis, 2 Palestinians. It's going to be nice. Make them all hot and have abs.
I love it. It's just the prompt is asking chat GPT, can you make a boy band that my mother wouldn't like the music of, but would approve of the existence of? Yes. There's nothing that can beat us. Here we go.
We're gonna be together as one.
As one. There's the song.
Yeah.
The Israel-Palestinian pop music journey. New documentary series streaming December 3rd. Paramount Plus. When you ask who is this for, I think the answer is pretty clear. Sherry Redstone and the Trump administration. This is about the merger. They're stopping CBS News from doing actual news. They're yelling at the executive producers of the Sunday morning CBS News program for telling people, sorry that Tony Dokupil, spent the entire interview with Ta-Nehisi Coates being like, but why are you a terrorist? And let's
remember that their beef with 60 Minutes was that 60 Minutes published some year-old footage.
Yes.
Of Palestinians, living destitute lives amid terrible rubble and just evidence of the destruction.
But 1 year old, it's not like 60 Minutes was on the forefront of anything in terms of like covering what was happening in Gaza.
No, it was like 60 months.
Yeah, it was like 60 months. Yeah. And, just the idea that they, were like, whoa, this merger's happening. We need to be careful about,
60 weeks. 60 weeks.
I can't believe we didn't see it coming because Paramount Plus is the company that brought you Mayor of Kingstown, which is Prisons is Good, The Agency, which is CIA is Good, Lioness, which is Death Squads is Good, The Landman, which is Big Oil, very, very necessary and also kind of good, shut the fuck up, lib, and Yellowstone, which is owning lots of land is awesome. My favorite scene in Yellowstone is when there's Chinese tourists that are exploring his little area and a Chinese tourist walks in and starts taking photos and he rides in on his horse and he tells him to get the fuck out of there. This is my land. And the Chinese guy is like, what the fuck? Nobody's supposed to own this much land. They put it in the show. And he says, well, this is America, baby. It's like, but no joke. How did we not see it coming? These are like the most like in your face, not too in your face. It's relatively well done. They're like
Garbage can of ideology.
There's dark sides to these agencies. We're not perfect, but that's much better propaganda, or these industries and so on.
Sure.
It's much better propaganda than directly like, oh, look how fucking awesome we are. But just when it comes to their fictional content, how did we not see this coming? It's all like word for word, just State Department fucking awesome.
Yeah, exactly. We love NATO. Adam says, complicated men need complicated entertainment. Don't you dare come for Taylor Sheridan.
I have watched all of them.
Yellowstone.
Is he the creator of Yellowstone?
Yeah.
Yeah. All of those shows.
I'll be driving through Yellowstone Park tomorrow, so I'm definitely going to try that thing that Yugo just mentioned.
Careful. Don't take any pictures.
Yeah, or if you do, make sure, if you go there, see if you can find the Yellowstone. I assume it's a show about a really Yellowstone.
Surely it's there
Isn't
somewhere.
Don't people who tend to own lots of land and ranching types, they're usually conservative, right? In the US?
Yeah.
So conservatives tend to be really pro-Israel, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So, Danny, why don't you just go and tell them that this land was promised to you 4,000 years ago?
Oh, shit. That might work on them.
And then he might be like, well, you know what? Here's my horse.
We got a good scheme going. We can make some money here.
They're like, wait, well, okay. I mean, certainly I don't like the idea of giving up my land, but I do love Israel for no reason. You know what? Take it, Danny. It's yours. Yeah. So, that's the state of the streaming industry. We're going to see how this all goes.
Consume the slop.
We're going to consume the slop, and we're going to choke on it till we're dead. And we have some more interesting and fun stuff to talk about, but we do need to take a quick commercial break. So everyone, please stick around. We will be right back. And we're back. This bad Hasbara meets the Deprogram. We're here with Yugo, Hakim, and JT. What's up, guys?
Howdy, fillers.
Hey.
Thanks for having us.
Feeling good.
In the comments on the episode that you featured us on, there were a few people debating whose show has the theme song that slaps the hardest.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah,
yours goes hard.
Well.
Yours goes hard.
Ours
Yours
has lyrics,
Yours goes really hard as well. And when I saw that, I saw that comment before. I had listened to the episode, and I had realized that I had always, when I was listening to your show, I would fast forward through everything. I always skip through to get to
That's a nice thing to say, Matt.
Your show fucking sucks, dude.
I realized that when I was listening to your show, I had it on 5 times speed.
I played on 5X, bro.
We all do it.
Listen, I got a lot of shit to listen to. My ears are busy.
Yeah. The aforementioned slop.
I was listening to the theme song, and I was like, for the first time ever, I was like, this might actually be a better opening, intro than ours, only because it is. It just goes so fucking hard, like it makes you excited. Who did the intro music?
A guy called Sam Kuzel. We worked with him way back at before we even launched the show. I think we're like, we need to do this properly, and he took a long time to do it. But it was because we're like, take these 3 very disparate musical styles from your homelands and make it good. And he managed. He pulled it off.
It's an impossible task. And it ended up great. Yeah.
He killed it. That was it's a super great intro, and you know what, guys? It's a super great podcast.
Oh, thank you.
But
Takes one to know one, right?
Sometimes you got to skip through a little bit of the intro stuff. Right? Not like ours.
It's all dick jokes anyway.
And not to slop the knobs of both of our audiences, which are hopefully like melting together. But half of the comments were like, Jesus Christ, 2 of my worlds are finally colliding.
Yes, I did love that. And this has been a collab long time begged for by our audience as well. I think we share a lot of the same audience. It's a lot of people who are desperately looking for normal voices to say,
not pieces of shit.
Not pieces of shit. So since the beginning of this podcast, obviously, one of the things that we have often has driven us the most crazy has been the amount of liberal Zionist takes out there. We find them to be the funniest. They are always skirting the line between I'm a good person and how can me as good person somehow still support the state doing genocide. And there's been multiple ways of people doing it. Number one has been denying that there's a genocide, denying any atrocities, saying, well, remember that Israel is trying their best, whereas Hamas is just trying to kill civilians. Depending
War is
on
complicated.
It's complicated depending on people's sort of like unconscious bias of believing a white Israeli over a brown Arab, all sorts of things,
or a brown Israeli over a white Arab.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. The point is who, if you tell me someone is Palestinian, you tell me someone's Arab, you're like, okay, I automatically put you in the take everything they say with a grain of salt, but believe the IDF.
And a lot of them have played the, look, I hate Netanyahu. I was at the protests, or I supported the pro-democracy protests, but they treat the and I hate the settlers, and I hate the way the IDF protects the settlers, but they still maintain this faith in the core of that army.
Yes.
And so, my sources in the IDF tell me such and such and such. They believed in the stated goals of the thing, and their main objection is, are we actually rescuing the hostages? Is this good for the hostages? And then occasionally excess here, excess there, mealy-mouthed condemnation, but
this
never
is the settler mindset. Right. When you have these people who are so insulated, like, of course, liberal Zionists in the US or around the world, the very few of them around the world, compared to liberal Zionists within Israel, they're two different beasts, because the ones in Israel are so insulated from what's actually happening.
Yes.
The amount of supreme censorship and media control that exists in Israel is unparalleled anywhere else in the world, really, with how walled off they are from any real information. And also, as a population, they're not that interested in consuming other information. They just kind of swallow it. It's part of their education, their the ideological justification of the existence of their state and their entire life purpose and so on and so forth.
But they will consume, obviously, like American movies and television. Their big thing is like Western stuff, and which has worked out for them, because for the most part, Western movies and TV do not speak about Israel in any way other than positive.
But more importantly, whenever you see these liberal Zionists, like, I was, especially in Israel, I was at the pro-democracy, quote-unquote pro-democracy. I was against Netanyahu. I was like, yeah, okay, if you're pro-democracy, do you think that there should be one state with equal rights for all people, regardless of ethnic or religious identifications? Slow down there. Okay?
I'm not that pro-democracy.
Israel is a Jewish state, all right, first and foremost.
Yes. And in America, obviously, the liberal Zionist flavor is different, and that liberal Zionist flavor is always basically buoyed by a bunch of misinformation about what Israel is and what Zionism is, and sort of this, it's this, hastily cobbled together ideology of all things that are good and liberal that I believe in is what I assume Zionism and Israel is all about, which of course is not the actual reality of it. There's sort of it's almost like a secular version of God, where you're just I think, I believe in God, but my God says that, everyone who's cool gets into heaven. There's no hell, but there's sort of a hell sort of jail where it's 5 years of hell. When, it's like people just they have no religion. They just kind of make up a bunch of stuff, but they still want to have some sort of spirit. It's the same thing with liberal Zionism. It's like their assumptions of what Israel is makes up, that's what they say. That's what they tell everyone Zionism is. And it's not the case. The biggest, I think, example that we have talked about on the show is this one poster, Shaiel, who he has been someone we featured heavily on this show because he's such the perfect liberal Zionist. And we have,
I'm a fan.
Yeah, I mean,
Get him on the pod.
Well, here's the thing, in general, my thoughts about having Zionists on this podcast. Well, first, it's just I book people who I think are funny and cool, and there's just not very many funny, cool Zionists.
That's very true.
But also, it's been about the idea of wasting everyone's time debating somebody who is going to, be completely delusional, where we can't even agree on the power imbalance.
You can't even make it a skit. They wouldn't get the fact that it's a skit and that they're being made fun of. So
yes, 100%. But I have always had this thing since the beginning of this podcast, which is like, if you're someone who's willing to admit it's a genocide, then you're someone who I might want to talk to. Ladies and gentlemen, something has happened in the world of Shaiel Ben-Ephraim.
Oh no,
Ephraim. Excuse me. Thank you.
Yeah.
He recently took to Twitter to say this: "It took me a long time to get to this point, but it's time to face it. Israel is committing genocide in Gaza. Between the indiscriminate bombings of hospitals, starvation of the population, plans for ethnic cleansing, slaughter of aid workers, and cover-ups, there is no escaping it. Israel is trying to eradicate the Palestinian people. We can't stop it unless we admit it." Now, this is, I gotta say, I'm not sure,
dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
My first response to this when I saw it was like, oh shit, we got one. And then my second response was, it's been 18 months. We got one.
Yeah.
We need to do a bumper with Janine from Ghostbusters.
We got one. Yeah, we got one. Yes.
I had a mixed response. I mean, I was really happy for him, and I was kind of proud of him because I've been dragging him for a year and making fun of him, and he's been so ridiculous. But that this is a journey. He has come a distance.
True.
And to be able to say that is something. And I had a part of me, though. There's a scene from Quiz Show, the 1994 Robert Redford movie.
Love it.
Yeah, great movie. At the very end, after Ralph Fiennes' character, Charles Van Doren, makes a sort of vague confession, which doesn't implicate the higher-ups at NBC of the Quiz Show scandal. He just sort of expresses contrition.
Right.
And he gets a whole lot of congratulations from a bunch of senators in this House Oversight Committee. There's another senator from upstate New York who says, I'm also from New York, a different part of New York. And while I'm glad you've made the statement, I can't join my colleagues in congratulating you or lauding you, because in my mind, it's just not something worth praising someone for, to finally, at long last, just tell the basic truth.
Do the bare minimum.
Do the bare minimum. Now, I've got both of those, that angel and that devil on my shoulder. I got both of those wolves in me. But I ultimately, I come down on, welcome over. I've been saying to him, or trying to, I think he ignores me, but it's better over here.
Yeah.
The position I'm taking is actually more consistent with what you fundamentally deep down know to be true. There's less contortion. We actually have a photo of Shaiel trying to hold his liberalism and his Zionism together at once. Can we put that up on the screen? There he is, right there.
For those listening, it's what is it? Dylan G from Severance, holding the buttons together at the same time.
Hard.
In two different rooms.
Yes.
And because he often does this thing where he'll be like, I don't recognize Israel anymore. This is not the Israel I grew up with. And he posted something like this the other day. I was trying to find it, but he's actually deleted the post, but my reply is still there. But he said something like, my mother and my teachers and the army taught me that we are a tolerant place and that we believe in human rights, all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, dude, what I wish you would realize is that what you're seeing now is actually not discontinuous from the reality when you were growing up. You were just lied to about it. And these people can't
That's the next
face that they were lied to. And I know that's a hard step to take. Like, that's full disillusionment. But I'm totally here to celebrate that this one prolific poster and apologist for Israel's crimes has actually, he's straddling the Rubicon at least.
Yeah, and oh, go ahead, please.
Yeah, and like 101 propaganda type shit, but like good propaganda. Everything is propaganda, you know what I mean?
Right.
Blah, blah, blah.
Gotcha.
I'm not going to bore you with that. I'm sure that the audience knows as well. So as what you guys do, and to an extent what we do, our reaction when it comes to on our platforms, in my modest opinion, should be one very similar to what Daniel was talking about, keeping an open door so that as many people that potentially want to stop being active propagandists for apartheid, genocide, and mass murder start changing their opinion, etc., etc. What you as an individual, as Daniel, as Hakim, as JT, as Matt, as Yugo specifically think about someone's, not one could call it an improvement. I would just call it no longer being an absolute piece of shit, which is an improvement, but it is not something, you didn't invent a new vaccine or something.
Right.
What us as individuals think about it should, at least on our platforms, be kept inside, because our platforms are trying to pitch this kind of idea that you are going to be relatively welcomed once you change. Basically,
once you change, though.
Once you change, of course.
Yes.
You need to not build up additional walls for people that you're trying to convert, not out of ethical reasons. I'm not talking ethics or morality at all.
Strategic,
just pure practicality of the funnel, right?
Yeah, but I do give myself the license to be honest about that other part of me that's like,
of course,
the part that's a little bit judgmental. A little bit petty, maybe, but maybe it's not petty. But
no,
either
it's not
way,
petty. It's completely. But that's subjective morality, right?
Yeah. No, I think you make a good point.
Yeah, and I think it's this is something that I've seen with regard to the normalization discourse that people have when it comes to this subject matter specifically, where part of keeping, I think. Creating a welcoming atmosphere is the idea that it will attract a broader coalition of people who might want to join you in the calling a genocide, and I think what happens is you do have people whose politics can sometimes be a little bit divisive in terms of like they go, well, you shouldn't, I don't believe them and whatnot. And it's like, and you're free to not believe someone, and definitely like of this course. Is a journey. And I'm as we will see in some of these other tweets that we have, he is not, of course, fully reckoned with his feelings about these things, but in terms of like. The feelings that he has, the idea of, praising it and then, people saying, oh, you're normalizing someone who is still a liberal Zionist is just like, well, yeah, but liberal Zionism is normal. That's what this has been the, the big block that I've been going up against and talking to these people in my personal life is that like, this is what I get the whole time is like, I see that Israel is doing bad things. Usually they won't say genocide. That kind of knocks down most of the reservations. But they'll say, Israel's doing bad things, but also deserves to exist. It should be a Jewish state. And it's just like, that's the normal line.
The minute you admit that it's doing a genocide, you've gone over the peak and you're heading on a downhill slope towards it doesn't actually have a right to exist. Like there's no genocidal state has the inherent legitimacy to continue to exist if it's going to continue to do genocide.
Right.
Maybe in the abstract, you'd be nice if it existed, or I'd like it to exist. But if it's going to behave this way,
right?
If it's going to commit the ultimate crime of all crimes, that's the first step towards realizing maybe this whole thing is actually, if this is what's required to keep the state going,
right?
And this is what Shaiel hasn't yet realized. He still thinks there can be a Zionism without this endpoint.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And
like-
there is no such Zionism.
It's like that. This might be a weird comparison, but I'm sure most of you guys know about it. It's like one of those loudspeakers that they would place on battlefields in Vietnam during the war, where they would, usually a female voice would be like, "GI, you are being lied to. GI, join our side. Pass over." And that was, you will
Your
not be harmed.
helicopters
They
fall
do-
out of the sky like broken birds.
Oh, I thought you meant the American loudspeakers that played
No, the
Martha
Vietnam
and the
loudspeakers.
Vandellas
Yeah.
Nowhere to Run To. And,
you are a
and
tool of
Creedence
imperialism.
Clearwater, like in all the movies.
Those, yeah. The opposite one, the opposite. And when a GI would pass over, they would still be prosecuted and stuff. They would still be arrested and stuff. They would still be, introduced to a lot of additional information. Call it education, call it re-education, call it whatever you want. But the fact that they willingly passed over, obviously, is much better than if they never passed over whatsoever. But in the speaker, pass over GI, they didn't all constantly say, and when you pass over, we will arrest you. We will arrest.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So practicality versus
The point is we have
principle is sometimes
to have to bring Shaiel in, put him in the re-education camp, and then he'll be good. No, but
And
it's like,
by the way, caveat as always, no Palestinian is obligated to to open the door for anyone who still calls himself a Zionist. No Palestinian is obligated to do anything. It's just not our business to tell Palestinians how to feel about Jews way too slowly waking up out of what is fundamentally a genocidal ideology.
Right. Yes.
But as for us who have a certain role to play, I think there's something to be like, okay, thumbs up.
I also think that there's a worthwhile distinction to be made that it's good and important to accept these people if and when they do change their minds and start, making the morally correct stance, but also not to waste too much breath trying to convert those people ourselves.
Yes.
That is something that I get a lot of the questions on my YouTube videos, like, why don't you're very critical of the people on the right, like, why don't you try harder to convert the right wing? I'm like, that's not my job.
Yes,
like, I don't at best I would end up with a highly suspect comrade.
Right.
I'll praise them if they do come over and say, hey, I've been watching your videos usually because I hate you, but now I've actually changed my mind. I'm like, great, welcome, thanks for stopping by. But until then,
there are people who are actually ideally placed to do that work.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Someone like Peter Beinart, for instance, who was a liberal Zionist for a long, long time, and then fully came over to seeing that a one-state solution is the only solution, and he's very comfortable in the Jewish world. He still belongs to it. He can speak to those people very effectively. He's doing a televised debate with Shai Davidai, actually.
Oh, wow.
Which is going to be interesting. But that even the work you're describing, JT, could be done by some people, but it's not on us necessarily to.
Right.
If your breath is going to be wasted, or if your energy is better placed somewhere else, then make that call.
100%. Yep.
I think this is. I think I've said this before, but this is sort of the one of the important things that I learned being part of a 12-step program for 15 years is number one, don't do heroin anymore, but number two has been is that it's about attraction rather than promotion. It's like, it's not really I don't think it's effective and I think it is honestly a waste of time, because there's so many bad faith actors out there to try to convert every single liberal Zionist, every single because it's like you're that strategically just doesn't make sense. What makes sense is that you see a community of people who are just speaking openly and honestly about something, in the back of your head, in your mind, that thing that's just been gnawing at you is real. This is what's happening. And Shaiel's known this, but it's hard to break through that programming for a lot of people. And I'll say that it's so hard that you rarely see this. And, I do applaud anyone who is going to, come to that conclusion eventually.
And he actually, in a reply to that tweet, he expressed how liberating it actually feels, which is what I've been telling him forever.
Yes.
Someone says, that's it, you've lost it. It's really sickening, this is the refrain from Zionists. He's gone off the deep end.
He's crazy now.
He's become dangerous. And he says, this is so liberating.
Yeah.
He's become a
Fuck yeah,
self-hating
dude.
Jew.
Yeah, yes. It's liberating to look at yourself and be disgusted. No, but it is
To be able
liberating.
to sleep at night.
I feel the conflict within you. Give in to your self-hate.
Yes. But I mean, it is a liberating feeling that you can take a deep breath. Like, imagine just the weight off your shoulders of the weight of having to carry water for a genocidal state that within the very country, they're not carrying the water you're carrying. They're openly admitting, a lot of people, at least, especially on
All
the
you
right.
have to do is press on the translate to English on the Hebrew tweet.
100%.
And it becomes clear.
And these guys will still argue with you about the meaning of genocide, what is and isn't a genocide, but they won't argue about whether or not they think it is okay to mass kill Palestinians. They'll be like, it is okay.
I wonder if now that Israelis are taking to the streets in larger numbers, actually holding pictures of Palestinian children,
right,
and saying stop the slaughter, not bring them home, not free the hostages, not end this war, but actually like just stop slaughter. And again, way too few Israeli Jews are doing this, and it's way too late, but it's happening, and you see that the Israeli police just absolutely crack down on them. I wonder if that turn of events has encouraged Shaiel to be like, yeah, any country where that is not sayable, where you're not allowed to like show pictures of children, must be trying to kill children. And if and if that's what we're doing, it's genocide. I mean, not by definition, but it's you know what I'm saying.
If that's what sells it to him, yeah.
Right. Then maybe everyone else isn't lying about what Israel is. Yeah, I mean, who knows what did it? But he did obviously get the pushback from the Zionists who have been, his base of support, at least somewhat. He's always been a liberal Zionist, so, he's always been attacked by, the Beitar, and Kahanists and like right-wing Israelis and all that stuff. So he's used to getting it from all sides, and he's always been like, that's how I know I'm right, which is always makes me want to blow my brains out. Oh my God. It's like that's how you know you're right, when everyone hates you and everyone's like you're wrong. But
you're a literal adolescent, like mom and dad disagree with me, and I hate mom and dad. That means I'm right.
Yes, that's what a middle schooler thinks. That is the fucking negative attention.
Mom and dad are divorced, and mom and dad are divorced, and they both grounded me.
Yeah.
I'm the one thing they agree on.
So he went on to, clarify some statements here where it says...
there seems to be a debate on whether to accept me in anti-Israel circles. We were just kind of having that debate, weren't we? Not that debate, but that conversation. Let me settle that for you. I left one cult and have no intention of joining another. I remain a Zionist. Okay, then you didn't leave one cult.
Oh, yeah.
That's completely and totally contradictory.
You just named the cult.
What cult does he think he left?
Yes.
The cult of no, it's not a genocide?
Yes.
That's not the cult. That's the rallying cry of the cult that you're claiming not to have left.
I don't think you can even be a Zionist if you deny that genocide is happening.
It's pretty tough.
It's like a poor guy saying,
like
I'm
I said,
a capitalist.
The slope is very, very steep. But you see, he's still holding the two buttons, right?
Yeah.
I still fully believe the following. 1, Israel must remain a Jewish state to defend Jews against atrocities. How's that going? Number 2, anti-Semitism remains a major global problem. Number 3, October 7th was a crime against humanity. Number 4, Hamas is an evil terror organization and must go. Unlike most Israelis, I believe that both Israel and Hamas must be held accountable for their crimes. But I harbor no hatred of my country. I know how we got here, and I feel empathy for people on both sides of this conflict. The wounds of anti-Semitism in Israel run deep. The trauma of constant wars and terror attacks shaped the Israeli reaction to October 7th. That doesn't justify the response, but it does Explain it. Okay, well, if you'd really left the cult, then you'd be able to form the inverse of that, which is the trauma of constant occupation, ethnic cleansing, brutality, massacres, sexual violence by an army, administrative detention, torture, house demolitions, and being caged in a concentration camp shaped the October 7th operation or attack or massacre, whatever you want to say, and that doesn't justify it, but it does explain it. But he'll never say that.
Yeah.
What I truly stand against is the attempt to whitewash the crimes of the leaders on both sides. I will not join with anyone who justifies atrocities, whether they be October 7th or the genocide Israel has perpetrated since. Okay, Shaiel, it's okay. Okay, it's okay. Come on over. Just get a little closer, okay? You don't have to justify October 7th in order to understand. Some people do. Right? We can have that conversation. But you don't actually have to justify what happened in order to have a principled anti-Zionist, anti-genocidal understanding of why it happened. But what's going to require, like I said, is you understanding that Israel's, quote, response to it is not discontinuous from some fantasy Israel that you've always believed exists and that you belong to. And that's going to be the next step for him. And I'm not sure if he'll take it, but that's where he's stopping short of. That's where he's half-stepping.
This is, I think, it's one of the reasons why, I discourage, the idea of using this podcast or any, anyone's platform, unless you're made to do this kind of work, from like individually doing the hand-holding required to pull someone over to, to the side of.
I'm really. Always tempted with him because he's so close.
No. I like talking about it. I like doing it, but it's just funny because you see this and you go like, yeah, well, who has the time? Who has the time to be like, okay, so you believe it's a genocide, right? Right? Okay, we both believe that. You believe that genocide is wrong, right? Yeah. Okay. Good. Just making sure. Is there any part of you that looks at people in mass who are saying Israel's doing a genocide and that's wrong, that goes like, maybe they're not a cult, maybe they're just the ones living in reality and they're screaming at the people who are in a cult, who are denying the atrocities that you yourself were doing for the last, 18 months, give or take a few times where you're like, hey, what's going on here? I mean, it's just, who has the time? Talk about it with your therapist. Talk about it with your friends. Talk about it, with your mom. I don't have that time to teach you that. But I do love watching it happen in real time. It's interesting, and I encourage it. It's like I think every at least anti-Zionist Jew sees a little bit of themselves in a lot of these like liberal Zionists, and this 100%. Is one of the reasons why we don't. I don't. Close the door to the idea. It's why I don't want to make it unattractive to be an anti-Zionist. Because I'm like, yeah, we all started somewhere, and most of us at least started with a lot of fucking programming that we had to break through. It's just most of us did it privately and didn't tweet their journey out during a genocide.
Actively, milked it as content. Yeah.
But it is wild to watch. I mean, I like watching the Zionists who are mad at him, who are being like, next thing you know, this guy, I see where this is going. One day he calls himself a Zionist. Next day he's going to build a statue to Yahya Sinwar. And and I'm sitting there and I'm going, that would be sick.
Yeah.
I would do that, please. And, who knows? They might be right about that. And he has to fight against the urge to be like, no, I'm not that. In fact, I'm going to meet you in the middle somewhere. And that's on him. You know what I mean?
When you remove the Zionists from liberal Zionists, you're still left with the liberal. That's the problem here. They have a supreme difficulty of interrogating their ideological positions because to them it's either part of their personality or they have this mental pathology that they think being in the middle of two positions is somehow the moderate or correct position.
Yes.
It's like, oh, well, I don't like my shower ice cold or burning hot. So here a little bit warm is perfect. Right. Yes, but no genocide or full genocide. I'm going to be here just a little bit of genocide. Or, like no apartheid or yes, apartheid. A few discriminatory laws will be good. There's some things you can't middle position. Right.
And there's some things, in which like the middle position, like what's the point of taking the middle position on this? Well, it's so that you yourself can comfortably stay within at least some of your pre-programmed worldviews. It's so that you yourself are like, well, I wasn't completely wrong. It's so that you yourself don't have to argue with people who, for the most part, you've agreed with for your whole life. And now all of a sudden your community is now complicit. It's now implicated in something that is a genocide. You can't be like, it's hard for, people to come around to it. So people love to stay in a middle position because they love to be, they think that part of being right is making room for evil.
Because it gives you that extra spice of thinking that this is wisdom. This is coming to a conclusion that includes absolutely all the factors at play.
Yes.
So it combines this rejection of a very human internal drive screaming at you that something's wrong. This is fucked up, but obviously you cannot deprogram. I said the thing.
Oh,
shit. You can't kill the Hasbara in you. I said the other thing, right? That. Number one, that is the negative incentive because it's very hard to pass through. But what the centrist position also gives you is not only the stick, but the carrot of you're a really smart guy. Look how academic you sound.
Yes.
Because you're right in the middle. Because everything else is, radical, de facto, populist, de facto, not set in reality and so on. So
And
there's both the carrot and the stick.
And you are adorned in nuance, which is sort of the ultimate.
Yes. Ooh.
It's the ultimate prize for
Yes.
libs.
And
For
to take the
cocktail
super
parties and
cynical
everything.
view,
Yes.
it's a lot easier 50 years down the road to justify to your grandkids that you were 50% wrong. Like, well, actually, I was 51% on that 1% towards the correct direction. There were a lot of people who were entirely wrong. So whichever side wins, they're able to just scoot just a little bit closer to that one.
100%. It is like classic hedging your bets, and and I think that like just the mindset of a lot of this comes down to like when you have these like centrist, liberal, right in the middle positions where you're holding fucking like Dylan G holding these two radical sides at bay. It's like you have to do it because otherwise what is your once you come over to the idea that like this thing that you've supported your entire life has been a fucking lie, like how do you not then completely dedicate your life to its destruction? You know what I mean? That I feel like that is hard for people. There's something about centrism that they see as like almost like proletarian in nature. Like, well, the regular guy on the street isn't like concerned with what's going on every day in the Middle East and stuff like that. Why should I be? So I'm going to hold this middle position that says like, some of it's good, some of it's bad. I don't know what's going on over there.
Only all of human history is actually that random guy on the street saying, okay, this is really fucked up. We're not fucking doing this anymore. And then doing something about it. But
that's exactly right. It's exactly right. And so people have, but they need to have some sort of, I think, emotional separation. I think this is what makes liberal Zionism very, like, particularly potent, is that they need to have this emotional separation from the reality. Because otherwise it can be devastating. It can be completely devastating. I mean, you see the way in which people who are, who grew up in Jewish communities or in Zionist communities, who see what's going on and say like, well, I got to say something about this. You see the amount of family members who like are going to shun them. You see like their entire community. It's the same thing of leaving a cult.
Yeah.
It's that all of a sudden, not only is everyone fucking disconnecting from you Scientology style, but they're also smearing you Scientology style. And that is
which is what creates this this protracted scene of I'm leaving. I really am. I'm leaving the cult, and they still haven't left. It's the waiting Godot thing, waiting for Godot thing. Let's go, yeah, let's go. They do not move. It actually reminds me of a scene from Steve Martin's The Jerk, where he's like, "I'm out of here. I'm leaving. I don't need anything. I don't need you. I don't need anything. I'm going. I just need this clock. I'm taking this clock with me. That's all I need.
God.
Just this clock. Just this clock, and now I'm gonna go. And this
I was like,
pen.
what fucking movie is he talking about? And you did it so fucking well.
And this pen, I'm taking this pen, and he ends up with like 8 things, and it takes about 6 minutes. He's like, and now I'm gonna go, and his arm's full of shit.
Yes. Yeah. And, I do think it is like...
Not that I'm calling Shaiel a jerk.
No. You're just calling him, he's doing the thing. And we just talked about the amount of smearing. It's been interesting to watch with him specifically. When we've talked about him, we have noted, but never really made, I think, too many jokes about it, that, he had been... he had like some sort of allegation against him. He got like fired from, or he had to something at UCLA where he like tried to kiss a coworker, something like that. I don't know. I never looked into it because I was like, his liberal Zionism is enough content for me. I don't need to smear the guy, look into his past. Of course, that is exactly what happened as soon as he admitted that this is a genocide.
No way.
Yes, of course. All of the people who at one point supported him, at least supported his worldview, who would have no problem with him if he had not said this is a genocide, started going after him. This is from Rachel Moisel.
Is she Irish?
Oh, I have no idea who Rachel Moisel is.
Yeah. She's one of these like Irish, what is happening to my country? Zionist.
Yes.
Oh my God.
My favorite type of Zionist is the one that's a Zionist because they're Irish and they're like, well, we're crazy over here with this anti-Semitism.
I am literal schizophrenic.
Yes.
Irish Zionist. Woo! Like, oh my God.
We need a queen.
I think if they really believed in the cause, they should all go break their own kneecaps.
That's right. That's right.
So she doesn't mention anyone, but the replies and her replies all make very clear who she's talking about.
Yes.
I wasn't going to say anything about this, but there is a prominent voice in the Israel-Palestine space who has been getting very obviously increasingly erratic over the past few months, and he has become dangerous. Well, I have some mitigating information that might explain it. Number one, he's gotten sober.
Yeah.
In the past few months, actually, and he's gotten
really
engaged in. Yeah.
Oh. Good for him.
Yeah. And so people are accusing him of like drifting, falling off the wagon or whatever. He's like, actually, my sobriety has contributed to my waking up politically.
Oh shit.
It is there's another reason for you to kind of like the guy, Matt.
Yeah.
It is very disappointing to me to see people continue to platform him given his noted history against women, one that in recent months he has made clear he hasn't fully reckoned with. He denied the experience a woman had with him until she provided proof. Liberal progressive people continue to praise him because he espouses the correct political opinions despite his increasingly public disrespect towards women and despite the fact that he is very clearly unstable.
Yeah.
I was aware of one instance of sexual harassment against him, one that is on public record and for which he lost his previous job. I am profoundly ashamed that I associated with him knowing this, thinking that everyone deserves a second chance and rationalizing that he had fully owned up to his wrongdoing and faced huge professional repercussions for it. But now that he said the word genocide, I no longer think that he deserves a second chance.
Zionist, me too. Let's go.
It's one thing. It's one thing to commit sexual harassment and then be sorry for it and me accept it and give him a second chance. It's another thing to do all of that and then go against my belief that Palestine should be turned into Israel and Gaza should be turned into a parking lot. That's a bridge too far.
Progressives have officially won. I'm being hella ironic here because right-wing Zionist chuds are using the most like classical 2017, 2018.
yes.
Always
sometimes- Yeah, always outdated.
Yes.
Like she's literally doing believe women.
Yes.
But only because the guy doesn't fuck with genocide anymore.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and now she's saying that she was messaged privately by another woman to say that he forced a kiss on her, and then she doesn't like the way he responded to it. He admitted that it happened and attributed it to a problem with alcohol. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
This man continues to be astoundingly verbally abusive towards people publicly on this platform. I haven't seen any evidence of that.
And we literally follow him for the lulz.
I follow him religiously for the lulz.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also the liberals speak. I'm sorry, I'm obsessed with this.
Yes.
I'm obsessed with aesthetics.
Yes.
Astoundingly verbally abusive towards people publicly on this platform. It's
That's right.
it's so
He
good.
has committed microaggressions,
Yes.
macroaggressions,
Yes.
mega
Well-
aggressions, giga aggressions.
Added in conjunction all together, the microaggressions equal 1 kilo aggression.
Yes.
Yeah, the fragility here. Many others have said this, but I will add my voice to the chorus and say that yes, this man has flown into blind fits of rage against a woman, an ex of his, in a group chat I was in, but also against me personally in DMs. After his tirade against me, I responded to say this behavior was concerning, and thankfully it largely ended there. He didn't message me much subsequently, perhaps because I never responded. Oh, what a stalker.
Yes.
He stopped responding when you stopped responding. I woke up this morning to see a recent post of his. The post wasn't what concerned me most. Bullshit. It was the fact that I'm sure she's talking about the one about genocide. It was the fact that in the comments I have seen him responding positively to 2 noted anti-Semites on this platform who have large followings. This is
right.
highly concerning to me.
Yes. Yes.
I won't name this man, but everyone in the everyone in the combating anti-Semitism space will know who I'm talking about.
I am
yes,
this
the combating
is the best day of
anti-Semitism
this
space.
month.
I
Oh
love
my
that
God.
space. It's one of my
Everyone in the
favorite
cult
spaces.
will
Pivot is
know who I'm
complete.
talking about.
The pivot is complete.
Yes.
Yeah.
Publicly associate. No, sorry. The combating anti-Semitism space.
Yeah.
I have the arc has been complete. Okay, we have officially cuckified the right wing.
Yes.
This is
The
the
one
real.
right.
This is the real horseshoe theory.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
100%.
From reactionary right wing grifter to like woke
Reaction.
hand wringer.
Yeah.
I love it.
Lassie, sorry.
I am saying something now because he is publicly associating with anti-Semites, i.e., people who are mildly congratulating him for calling it a genocide.
Yeah.
And combating anti-Semitism is a primary focus of my advocacy. This could get very dangerous. I hope
What is
this
this
man.
stupid?
I hope this man gets the help he needs. I implore my Palestinian and Jewish friends to stop platforming him until it happens. As if you have any Palestinian friends.
No,
Yeah,
that's not
yeah,
true.
in
She
general.
has she's best friends with Mossab Hassan Yusuf.
That's exactly
the son of Hamas.
She visited the camps and waved at the what's it called through the barbed wire. I was
That's
gonna say,
right.
this is annoying thing. This could get very dangerous. This is Twitter.
Yeah.
What the fuck dangerous?
What's
What
at
the
stake?
fuck do you mean?
How is-
if this is dangerous? What would you say what's happening to the Palestinians is?
Yes. Yeah, how is
That's-
this dangerous? But what's happening in Gaza, fine.
I don't know this guy. I don't know what the accusations are. I don't give a fuck. Honestly, I don't care. Right? Maybe he's a horrible person. Maybe he's not. Maybe there's lies. Maybe it's truth. I don't care. But if we're talking about this being very dangerous, where is your fucking threshold? Where are your reference intervals? Where are your? I don't. God damn these people.
It's
These people
no,
are
but
so
she's speaking for the cult. It's dangerous to the cult, and it is mildly. He's not going to bring anything down single-handedly, but
Right.
she's seeing what we're
Defending
seeing.
the space. The space,
like,
Hakim, the space must be defended.
That's right. They need some sort of space force that'll come out and help do the combat in the anti-Semitism
We're
space.
doing very
Jews
serious work.
in space.
Space.
Oh, of course.
I love that space.
I will post to liberation. I must post all the time.
Yes, yes. I think
Verbally
that's
abusive towards my posting. You are a dangerous person.
yes, and it's just like it's so funny how perfectly these tactics mirror the same thing that happens if you try to leave Scientology, or you try to fucking
Any other concept? Yeah.
it's just like this is the cult-like behavior that you're going to deal with. Now, politics in general has a lot of like different, cult-like attributes. I'm not going to, sit here and pretend like people don't also do that on my side, where people are like, oh, well, now I'm going to fucking start saying it. The difference is in this case, I like that she's saying out loud the things that are like, well, I was very tolerant and accepting of the idea that this person had done sexual harassment before, but now, now that he's coming out and calling this a genocide, he's fair game. That's just straight up what it is. He is fair game. Now he is dangerous. Now, we need more ships in the space fleet.
You gotta create the whole environment where, if I'm literally like a cult, where if anyone even starts thinking about leaving, the repercussions will be immeasurable. But it's hilarious because it's, as Hakim said, this is on Twitter. And it's like, we must punish this man, but it's not. Yeah, it's not like
close,
1915 or something.
Yeah. Log out. All of a sudden, this dangerous man disappears. He plays no role in your life.
He's gone. I killed them. I don't know how.
Maybe that's the solution to like peace everywhere. The murders no longer exist.
She
the
can't
block
log
button.
Off. She can't log off because who would combat anti-Semitism?
Anti-Semitism, yes. Oh no, what was her name? No, Angelica. No, Becky, don't leave.
Rachel.
I like how that was your white people names. You got Nick.
But I gotta stop myself because I was like Irish, and I know it's some weird fucking. I don't know.
Angelica's her name's Rachel.
Rachel. Oh, it is Rachel. Oh my god.
Rachel's isn't that technically a Hebrew name?
Rachel,
yeah. There's a lot of Jewish Rachels, but they're not all Jewish. If you think that's called
name.
Rachel profiling.
Rachel
profiling.
I see where the comedian here. Let's go.
Do the corner right now.
I'm gonna keep doing that joke on this podcast.
It gets funnier every time.
I don't think I remember it.
Oh, I've done it. Thank you, Adam. I got a 10 out of 10 from producer Adam.
Hey,
I know they give
Matt
out
has a show
those
coming
comic
up on May
documents. The comic passport. I'm revoking it. No,
I think that's episode title worthy, personally.
yeah, that's good.
All right, look at that. Well, listen, apparently you haven't heard Rachel profiling, and I love it. Before we get on out of here, we're not going to have time to go through all of the. I just have so many things that I got prepared for this episode, but I do want to do a little bit of a Mohsen Madawi update, which is that if for those of you who do not remember, I don't think we've yet fully discussed this on the pod because with so many of these stories happen and we only have, 2 episodes a week. But this is someone who was arrested by ICE. He is a legal permanent resident of the U.S. who has lived in Vermont, for the last decade, who was arrested by ICE in this video. If you haven't seen it, I'm going to play it for you now. That's him being arrested.
Flashing the peace sign with the victory sign.
And we're going to go around, see what's going on here. And they took him. And so he is, someone who, like, so many others that we have seen and talked about, he was taken by ICE, and they tried to and failed to this time to transfer him out of Vermont. They've been doing this thing that we've talked about on this pod where they are taking these students and immediately shipping them off, like abducting them and shipping them to Louisiana, where a Trump, judge will deport them, which is a fucking just an insane sentence that I said. But apparently, according to NBC News, judge says Trump administration can't move detained Palestinian student out of Vermont. A federal judge blocked officials Wednesday from moving a Palestinian student from Columbia University who was taken into custody during his naturalization interview in Vermont. Oh, by the way, he went to do a naturalization interview, and that's where he was abducted. So U.S. District Judge Jeffrey W. Crawford extended a previous temporary restraining order that keeps the student Mohsen Madawi in the state where he is a resident. Madawi is being held at the ICE enforcement facility in Vermont. Fucking insane. But at the very least, we have this judge who is not moving him. And we can hope for the best from that. These attacks on our universities and our university students are obviously insane. The most recent thing that I've seen is now the Trump administration through the EEOC is starting to
what does that stand for?
The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, I believe. And I will
right
know.
Off the bat, that was impressive.
Yeah, and we'll find out if that was right as soon as Adam does a Google for me. But I'm going to assume it's right.
Sounds right.
They started sending emails and text messages to professors over at Barnard College asking if they were Jewish or not. And let's see, Adam says correct. By the way, I'm correct.
Nice.
I'm the smartest man in the world. And thank you so much. So here is an email that was sent. Dear faculty and staff.
Guten Tag.
Yeah, guten.
Guten Morgen.
Guten Morgen.
Führer.
Yeah, we've received multiple reports that some employees have received text messages. Oh, so this is them. This is actually Barnard responding to it. Here's the text that they got. All right. Okay. Guten Tag. The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission is currently reviewing the employment practices of Barnard College. As a current or former employee of Barnard College, the EEOC requests that you complete a voluntary survey regarding your employment. Please do not take the survey during work hours or on company-supplied equipment, whether you currently work for Barnard College or another employer. And then the link opens up to this survey right here. Are you currently or have you ever been employed by Barnard College? Yes. And then under that, please select all that apply. I am Jewish. I am Israeli. I have shared Jewish/Israeli ancestry. I practice Judaism. Other.
Other? What do you mean? Other? What are you supposed to fill in? Other?
Yeah.
Wap bop baloo blah bam boom. Like you could fill in literally anything. I am.
Yeah.
I'm every woman. It's all in me. Like, what the fuck? I am the walrus.
I am the law. Judge Trump.
I am the one who knocks.
I am the one who knocks. I am what I am. I am whatever you say I am. If I wasn't, then why would I say I am? In the paper, the news, every day I am. It's like this is the text that's come out. And then Bernard.
I am the man who will fight for your honor.
Yeah. Adam says, I am the very model of a modern major Zionist. Thank you.
I'm on that, Adam. I'm gonna have to write that one.
You're gonna write the full version of it? Do it. Okay, so then the Barnard emailed their staff. We've received multiple reports that some employees have received text messages from the EEOC inviting them to complete a voluntary survey. Barnard was not given advance notice of this outreach. Participation is entirely voluntary. If you choose to respond, please know that both federal law and Barnard policy strictly prohibit any form of retaliation. Thank you.
So I guess that means that even if I don't check any of the boxes, you're not going to fire me for just not being Jewish or not being Israeli.
Yeah. I mean,
what is the point of this? What are they doing? What's the speculation?
Here's the story that came out.
Because it's online and it's like a form and it feels very, let's call it clean. Not clean. It's not clean. They're asking you if you're Jewish, but it feels sterilized. That's
sterilized. Yes.
But imagine. I mean, I'm going to use two guys as an example. You're just sitting at a bar, like completely minding your own business, or at a cafe or whatever. And there's just a guy that you don't know that comes up to you, and you're like, "Yo, bro, you're a fucking Jew. You're a Jew."
Well, as Adam said to us a few days ago, like they're investing all this fucking, bureaucratic time and energy into something anyone can get by just getting off the subway in Crown Heights. Or
if you've ever been to Brooklyn, at some point someone is going to go up to you and ask you
Jewish?
if you're Jewish, and then if you, depending on whether you say yes or no, they'll give you a candle,
or they'll usher you into a van for you to shake a fucking
a palm frond,
a palm frond and a misshapen citrus fruit.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, why am I holding a lemon?
They'll tie your arm up as if they're about to inject you.
Yes, be like,
no offense to tefillin wearers, but
I mean, listen, had I been born religious, I absolutely would have used tefillin in order to do heroin. I would have just wrapped it up, put a little GoPro on top,
in order to fill in the gaps in your will to live.
That's right. That's right. So there's a whole article that came out about this from The Intercept. Who was it again that wanted to maintain a comprehensive list of Jews historically? I forget the name. There was one good list. It's Schindler's List is the good list. That's what they're doing now. So Trump administration texted college professors personal phones to ask if they're Jewish. Just a little bit from the story. Most professors at Barnard College received text messages on Monday notifying them that a federal agency was reviewing the college's employment practices according to copies of the messages reviewed by The Intercept. The messages sent to most Barnard professors' personal cell phones asked them to complete a voluntary survey about their employment. The federal government, quote, reaching out.
Don't skip the top paragraph there.
Oh, okay.
Other questions, because we didn't see the rest of it.
Other
questions asked respondents whether they had been subjected to anti-Semitism, as well as whether they were subject to, quote, unwelcome discussions, graffiti, or signs depicting anti-Semitic messages or image, anti-Semitic or anti-Israel protests, unwelcome comments, jokes, or discussions, or
jokes.
Pressure to abandon, change, or adopt a practice or religious belief.
I mean, first of all, the idea that you would go to a college campus and somehow avoid pressure to abandon, change, or adopt a practice or religious belief.
Look, have you been threatened by changing your mind at the Educational Institute?
Exactly. Have you ever been subjected to anti-Semitism via reading a book that says the opposite of a core belief that you have?
Right. And as Adam says, when it comes to unwelcome jokes, have you ever been subjected to an Andrew Schultz stand-up set? Yes or no?
Yes or no? Yeah, I mean, just like the idea that, like, what is going to be considered anti-Semitism is going to come down to just like, has any student ever said you're wrong to you in your face, professor? You may be a victim of Nazism.
Just like unfortunate weaponization. Cliche, but Jesus Christ.
I've always thought about the woke, whether it's the woke left or woke right approaches to make sure students have a safe space in college. Yeah. Now we're supposed to be making sure professors have a safe space in college, not to have their beliefs questioned.
I love it. It's incredible.
Rightoids are literally using safe space. Again, we're going back to racial profiling.
Every accusation is a confession. That's what it's always been this.
Yes. Yeah. 100%.
Oh, God. But why are they so late? So what's the current big 2025 thing that we'll see that's semi-annoying but sometimes necessary that, leftists do that we'll see in 2031 right-wingers who
they're going to adopt in order to defend the state of Israel. It is great. Pressure to abandon, change, or adopt a practice or religious belief. I went to college and I had a small same-sex relationship, And now I believe that to be anti-Semitic in nature. Let's see. The federal government reaching out to our personal cell phones to identify who is Jewish is incredibly sinister, said Barnard Associate Professor Debbie Becker, who is Jewish and received the text. Quote, they are clearly targeting what most of the United States, I hope, and I think, defines as freedom of speech, but only in the case of anti-Israeli speech. Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. Good. Sounds great. Let's see. In an email to professors on Wednesday, after The Intercept first reported on the text, the general counsel at Bernard, a women's college affiliated with Columbia University, said the EEOC initiated an investigation against Bernard last summer into whether the school had discriminated against Jewish employees.
I'm going to call it the EEOC from now on. EEOC.
You know, that's the thing about, like, you know, the EEOC being a tool of this level of, like, you know, obviously repression is one of those, like, weird, sinister things that if a you know, right wing if Obama did something like this, if a fucking Democrat, they would just be like, this is fascism, you're doing fascism.
This
whatever.
is where affirmative action was always going.
Right, exactly. This is what DEI is all, you know, really about. And
well, fuck, then the National Institutes of Health has gotten on board now. Do you know that, like, they have to sign basically a pledge saying they won't do any research affiliated with anyone who engages in boycotts of Israel now? Yeah. You know, and RFK Jr.'s main health crisis that he seems to be looking to eradicate is anti-Israel sentiment.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy because it's like, you know, in the past, the EEOC has been there to be the people that you call when you are discriminated against at a job. The idea of using the EEOC in order to go on a fishing expedition for Jewish professors, you know, who might or might not have experienced seeing a graffiti, is, like, so obviously and clearly intended as, well, we're laying the groundwork here to, you know, do a nationalization of Columbia or whatever, like federally take over or federally defund these institutions, which should be, you know, I think for anyone normal, should be like scary and bad
and fucking insane. Everything can be co-opted, right? And that's a cliche as well. But
yes.
What I said earlier, 2025, what we might see in 2031, I just got an idea, but they're fast. They're becoming fast because, you know, the big whole spiel about DEI. To an extent, they're doing DEI. They're fucking, but they're getting faster. It's pretty impressive.
They're speeding up. They're speeding up their ability to co-opt anything.
My culture is not your, what was that?
my culture is not your costume.
Yeah.
Everything they do is like taking the culture and turning it into the costume. It is just fucking insane the amount of, like, like you said, of co-opting these kinds of, especially like these government organizations that you would assume as like a conservative, small government fucking, you know, psychopathic fascist, that they're just going to be like, let's get rid of it. Let's get rid of the EEOC. Let's get rid of the FDA. Let's get rid of the Department of Education. You know, but instead they're like, well, can we use any of these to somehow support Israel? It's like, what the fuck? What is happening? And luckily, we have people.
Selling your face. Yeah.
Like what's his name? Jonathan Greenblatt. He's out here and he's speaking sense on all of this. Here's Greenblatt on CNN
speaking power to truth.
Yeah.
The federal government, which is pumping billions of dollars into higher education, has the right to expect some degree of accountability from them. We've seen, you know, the U.S. government demand it with law enforcement agencies, with other institutions. They're pressing here, and that is long overdue. Now, at the same time, let's also admit that I think there are ways you can tackle anti-Semitism. You can go at this cancer without killing the victim, if you will. So, for example, our system of higher ed, it's the envy of the world. It fuels innovation. It enables economic prowess. It is so important to our scientific leadership on the planet. I don't want to obliterate the whole thing.
Notice that he doesn't. Hold on. Nowhere in there is a celebration or veneration of intellectual freedom.
No.
Creative freedom.
No.
There's just no sense of the universities as an incubator for free, independent thinkers.
Utility. Yeah.
Yes.
Utility for the
Yes.
empire, right?
Yes.
He is only interested in a version of the university system, the college system, that is there to train people to serve the empire.
Yes. Exactly.
Very revealing.
Specific strategic measures that you can get to the root causes of anti-Semitism, and the federal government has a role to play, but I worry about the overreach.
Oh,
that,
do we?
again, could kill the golden goose, if you will.
Yeah, we don't want to kill the golden goose.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's 100%, using
Golden goose step.
He's like, and you know how much I love gold. Just kidding. Parody jokes. No, but like he's using, this, what is a repression on free thought and free, speech and intellectual curiosity and diversity and everything that like college offers. And it is like, how can we, more forcefully turn this, these institutions into what they should have been and were built for, which is a conformity machine. And it is like the willingness for people to like fucking the ADL and Jonathan Greenblatt to like completely abandon any semblance of like the idea that maybe this is something that even the Jewish students won't like. It doesn't matter because it's not about them. It's about Israel. That's
and
what
Adam, you're right. The golden goose is being able to profit and fundraise on imagined anti-Semitism. It's the golden grift.
That's right.
And Jonathan Greenblatt is one of its most tireless advocates.
Yeah, he loves it.
So it's quite rich for him to be like, overreach. But he was happy with the threatened deportation of Mahmoud Khalil.
Of course. I mean, yeah, and he says that out loud. And, the thing about this, like, looking at Greenblatt saying something like this is, especially with the, like, hedging, with the, like, the overreach is it's 100% self-preservation. Because anyone who's going to be talking about this on the pro side of this is going to have that bit of hedging. And the reason is because they know deep in the back of their twisted little fucking mind that state repression is bad. Repression of thought is bad. And that, if you don't think you're next, you're always next.
But that's why you redefine, as Daniel perfectly put, that's why you redefine what a university is supposed to be.
Yes.
So not a bastion of creativity, art, critical thinking, etc., etc. We take a scalpel and we remove that while keeping the pure utility of, creating more managers, more middleman guy, lawyers.
Yeah,
Fuck
we need more lawyers. Yeah. Someone's got to read these ancient texts. We got to decipher what they mean and figure out a way and which to
it is the long-term pitch when it comes to education, especially by Republicans in the States, right? To a certain extent by Dems, but Republicans mostly, to completely remove the way education plays into people potentially criticizing the state or criticizing the status quo, or in this case, the big bad, which is criticizing, American imperial overreach through the prism of Israel. It's just the first stepping stone.
That's
well
right.
said.
Well, looks like that is a podcast. You guys, we did it. We have all gotten together and made one podcast.
Wow.
In fact, we've made 2 podcasts together.
And this is our first 5-person episode, I think, right?
Yeah, we've never had this many.
It's never been this crowded.
Yay. Yeah, the screen is so full. Thank you guys so much for coming on Bad as Bar and talking with us.
Thank you for having us. Are you kidding?
Fantastic.
It was so much fun. Where can people find your work?
JT, you're the king of plugs.
Man, you make me do all the work. All right, you can find us, number one, patreon.com/thedeprogram. Don't subscribe to these guys, subscribe to us. Also, we are on YouTube. We are on YouTube, The Deprogram. We also do a geopolitics channel called First Thought. We all have our own individual channels, Yugopnik, Hakim, and Second Thought. Is that everywhere? I think that's everywhere.
Yeah, and obviously it's a podcast on Spotify, so all
wherever you get your podcasts.
Just Google the fucking thing, or you click the thing in the box above, below, left of me, right of me, everywhere.
And if you feel like not doing any of that, at the very least, join the subreddit.
No, not the subreddit.
And
We're
join
not affiliated.
and just keep going. What? There's a podcast?
There's a pod?
That'll be fun. All of the links, everything JT just said, will be in the show notes. Thank you guys again for coming. It was awesome having you.
No,
thank you
so much.
Thank you guys for having a lovely podcast.
Thank you all out there for listening and watching. Patreon.com/badhasbara. Email us questions, comments, concerns, badhasbara@gmail.com. All right, everyone. Thanks again so much for listening. And until next time, from the river to the sea.
I don't want no program unless it's got that D.
There we go.
Wow.
I'm gonna come.
Fucking A. That was
Jumping jacks was us. Push-ups was us. Krav Maga us. All karate us. Taking Molly us. Michael Jackson us. Yamaha keyboards us. Jar Jar Binks not us. Andor was us. Heath Ledger Joker us. Endless Breadsticks us.